All right, I'm excited. As all speakers do, they procrastinate and wait till the last minute to write their entire talk. So I was able to finish it yesterday, which felt pretty nice, around 2 in the morning. But we're going to talk about the new Angular today. And this is a very pretty color scheme, isn't it? I tried to make my presentation match. And what's funny, though, is it's RxJS colors. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about the new docs, Material 3, the control flow syntax, signals, deferrable views, and server-side rendering. I'm going to probably focus a little bit more on the Material 3 and signals aspect of things, but it's exciting. And Manfred, you can tell me all the things I'm doing wrong after this talk. I didn't run this by Manfred. So my name is Tracy. You can follow me on Twitter at Lady Lee or on LinkedIn at Tracy S. Lee. I'm the CEO of a company called ThisDot. We are hiring. I'll go here first. 100% remote global team. We have 2 folks in the UK right now, one in Swansea and one a 2-hour train ride from here. I don't know where he lives, but he says it's 2 hours. So we're looking for senior project leads and architects. So email me, jobs@ThisDot. If you are looking as well. I'm on the RxJS core team, Google developer expert for Angular, Microsoft MVP, and generally, love to support the community. So let's just talk about the new docs really quickly. You can't, if you Google Angular docs, you don't get angular.dev, but you can go to angular.dev, and they're trying to create this new experience of learning Angular. So I would definitely check that out. Material is, what, did I miss a slide? I don't know. But anyways, point being, Material 3 is something that was introduced experimental in Angular 17.2. It is backwards compatible with Material 2. For those of you who don't know, Material 3 was actually introduced in 2021, but I feel like we're all still dealing with the pandemic. So did I miss that? Yes, I did. But now you can actually just stick it in your app. So again, Material 2, Material 3, that's kind of what it looks like, the comparison. Another little comparison here, and kind of bigger, more emphasized, so new web. And you can see these new buttons. So the last talk, I noticed that it was actually Material 2 still. But you can use Material 3 now. I wanted to show you guys just kind of how easy it is to do this. So I built this little app, and this is what I spent way too much time on. How many of you heard of the RAG stack, retrieval augmented generation? So anyways, I built a little Angular GPT that will talk to you, but the point, I'll go through that a little bit later. But the point here is that this is Material 2, right? You see the buttons, and it's backwards compatible, right? So Material 3, adding it to your app is backwards compatible. Let me go to my code here really quickly, and I'll just comment out a few things, or comment back in a few things, actually. So what you need to do is you need to make sure you're importing it, npm install Angular Material Experimental, and then you're just basically, I'm keeping all my Material 2 stuff in here, but I'm just defining a theme over here, and it's different colors as well. So, I'm choosing the yellow palette here. I'm going to save that, make sure my app doesn't break. And then I'm just including things over here. So again, just a few lines of code you can see that make it really, really easy to, boom, there we go. So I really didn't have to do that much, right? I mean, I just edited a little bit of Sass, and here we go, Material 3. So now we have a pretty little app here. So anyways, again, I would highly recommend you guys checking it out and looking at how to upgrade to Material 3 in your applications. The declarative control flow syntax. This is pretty exciting. I think things that are exciting about it is you can just kind of write if, else, else if, for switch, everything like that, just directly in your app. So you don't have to do so much, ng switch, ng if, et cetera, et cetera. Less code switching, so just making it a lot easier for us. I don't know about you all, but as Angular developers, sometimes I'm like, did I import that? Did I put that in my, in my TypeScript file? Did I not? Angular, again, the team making it really, really easy for us to migrate over. So you can just migrate over your entire app with ng generate Angular with the core control flow, or you can migrate a specific file as well. So again, making it really, really easy for you. If you guys haven't seen it, this is kind of what it looked like before with the NG switch and switch cases. And this is kind of what it looks like now with the switch and the case. It's so hard not to like turn your back on you all and look at your own slides, right? It's such a bad habit, but here we are. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then I just kind of want to show you guys where I use it in my app so you can kind of get an idea. Where is my, here we go. So you can see now in my template, I just can say if and else, and it just works. Life is amazing. So I would highly recommend you guys kind of checking that out and starting to use it. Signals. So being on the RxJS core team and having Ben Lesh be one of my best friends, you got a little worked up when I brought this up. So signals, I think it was really confusing when this was introduced because we talked about adding reactivity to your app, so everybody thought it was like this replacement to RxJS. I don't know if some of you all think that right now, but it is not. So signals are amazing because they just allow you to know when something has changed within your app. So you're reacting to completion of operations like API calls, and you can just update the UI. I'll show you guys that in my app in a second. Managing user input, right? Just updating the UI based on user interactions, and just coordinating data flow. So Ben, I got off the phone with Ben the other day, and then he wrote this really long Twitter thread about signals versus observables. So if you would like to argue on the internet, you can also find this thread and argue with him on the internet as well. But I also made this pretty slide kind of summarizing observables versus signals. So when you think about observables, right, they're just functions. So composable functions with guarantees. You should be using observables for cancellation and event coordination. Previously before signals, and probably now anyways, I would see a lot of people who are going through large app migrations, and they would just stick everything in RxJS, and then, kind of stick all their state in RxJS and then kind of migrate their app that way. But now you should use signals if you're doing that with Angular. Observables are generally state, sorry, let me explain signals. Signals, basically it's a dependency graph of values and logic around notification, invalidation, computation, memoization. Ben's actually working on, with the standards bodies as well, kind of trying to get it into, did it land in Chrome yet? Is it behind a flag in Chrome? Nobody knows signals? No? It's either there or almost there, but signals are gonna be like native to the browser soon, which is gonna be amazing for all of us. Observables, generally stateless. You process an event, it cleans up. Signals maintain state, they retain things in memory. Observables, when you think about observables, multiple values, a collection of events and values over time. Signals, single value, and it's a value that changes over time. With observables, you can push n values. Signals, you can read one value. Converting, so there's this like 2 signal and 2 observable in Angular, which I think is also kind of confusing because you think they're interchangeable, which, but you can actually, with observables, you can convert it to a signal. With signals, typically you're not wanting to convert it to an observable. It's typically avoidable because the event that set the signal can also like notify the observable. So next slide. Okay, so there's been a lot of like people talking about signals and implementing in their apps and trying to figure out better ways for us to do as developers. Tim does some amazing stuff in the Angular community, and he has this signal forms. So there's many ways again to implement signals within your application, but you should definitely check this out. It's kind of cool. But I will also show it to you in my app really quickly. So if I go to here, you'll actually see I have 4 signals: thinking, question, response, data, and response. These are all just regular signals, right? And then this is a computed signal. Let me just explain to you what the app is, because that's probably important as well. This is just an app that, again, the RAG stack. So it uses OpenAI's API, and it's going to return responses from OpenAI for me. And you can see that kind of over here that I'm using GPT 3.5. And then the other thing I'm doing, so RagStack is like this AI thing, a retrieval augmented generation, and that's the G generation, you're using OpenAI. The A is augmenting, so here I'm telling ChatGPT that They are an AI assistant that's an Angular superfan and saying, hey, make sure don't return any images and format responses using Markdown. The R part, the retrieval part, is actually creating this little script right here and taking all the new things about Angular, right? Because as we all know, ChatGPT doesn't even know Angular 17 exists, for example. But I basically took all this information on the web about Angular 17 and stuck it into, created vectors using Cohere's API, and then stuck it into a AstraDB. It's a vector database. That's from DataStax. And now the app knows about Angular, which is really exciting. Let me see. Let me go back to my app component right here. So anyways, if I run this, for example, I can just say, and you can see it's thinking right here. That's using signals, and then it'll basically tell me what it is. And you see it knows about Angular 17. So that's exciting. But anyways, going back to the signals, I'm using the signals right here. And then I'm going into my app component, and you can see right here, I'm just using that if else that I showed you guys already. But as I asked it a question, you can see, right, it'll say it's thinking. And then once it's done thinking over this conference Wi-Fi, it'll tell me different things. I like this. I know this is like you can actually tell ChatGPT to talk like a Valley girl, and then it will actually start doing that. So it's fun to play with. If you all haven't played with these new APIs and things like that, you should definitely check them out because, you can entertain yourself. So you can see, it talks like a Valley girl right there. But, I think this example right here, right, is, I'm not doing forms. Right, here's my form right here. I'm not doing it kind of like the way, I don't know, I don't want to say the Angular way, but I'm just using signals, and it just kind of works, right? So signals are really great if you just want to add a little bit of that reactivity to your app without having to do a lot of stuff around it. And you can use it with as well. And again, there's a lot of documentation on the internet kind of talking about this, but it's pretty cool, and I like the new syntax as well. So deferrable views. Anybody excited about deferrable views? We're just talking about this. Deferrable views. How many of y'all know about islands as well? Islands is yeah. Or quick, right? Misha goes over at quick now. But I don't want to say they're all doing the same thing, but they're all kind of doing the same thing. Is that a hot take? Depends on who you ask, okay? But all kind of trying to accomplish the same thing. I'll talk to you a little about deferrable views. So you can basically just lazy load components, directives, and pipes into a section of your template. It reduces the initial bundle size, which I think is really awesome. It has these built-in triggers, prefetching also, less boilerplate. I feel like Manfred used to talk about lazy loading a lot, right? Didn't you talk about lazy loading a lot? No? I just love, you guys probably heard Manfred talk. I love his accent and how he talks about Angular. It always excites me. But I just remember in my head you saying lazy loading. So anyways, but you can see also, the deferrable views. So defer, it just uses kind of the same syntax as well, and just, again, makes it really, really easy for you to make your app more performant. Yay. Server-side rendering as well. So there's nothing too new about this because, we've been talking about this for a while in Angular, but there are a few updates. We're saying goodbye to Angular Universal. And so now it's directly integrated into Angular CLI. So you can just ng add Angular/SSR, and you can also automatically update with ng update, which is nice. Vite and ES build, they've been messing around with that since I think 16. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. But if you read Minko's blog post, there's been a lot of build time improvement. So they just made it default now. And with SSR and SSG, if you use it, you can actually observe up to 87% speed improvement, which is yay. And the new docs, Angular.dev, actually have an entire guide on SSR. If if you want to check that out as well. So talked about a few things. Hopefully, I think the biggest takeaway here, the two things that I get like more excited about are material being so easy to add to your app, and also signals and kind of helping people understand better like what signals versus observables is within your different apps. Let's hang out. You can, we do a lot of content on this dot, so you can find us at thisdot.co. I'm doing interviews today with engineering leaders. So if you have like an engineering manager up title, come hang out with me and do a 10-minute interview with me. You can find me on Twitter at Lady Lead as well, or on LinkedIn. And that's it.